Hi, everybody. I'm Neal Ronahan, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Thursday, March 12th, 2015. During this show, we discuss Nintendo news as well as the week's new releases and more. As you can see, I'm not the usual host, Alex Kalafi. I think he's in Florida, as is our other co-host, regular co-host, Scott Thompson. I don't know if there was any kind of collaboration here or what's going on. I'm joined today, I'm Neal Ronahan, Director of Nintendo World Report, and I'm joined today by John Rairden, who's our resident YouTube maven here at Nintendo World Report.
Hello.
And then, you went dark, I think. I don't know what happened. That other person there, that fine bearded gentleman, that is Tyler Treese, who has written for us before a long time ago, and he works with John over at 8 Worlds News, which is where we kind of both found them, so that's cool.
It's a magical place.
So tell me a little bit about yourselves, guys, before we get right into the hot news action.
Who's going first? I'll go first. So yeah, I am. If you watch NWR TV, then you've probably seen my annoying face. I am the host of Nintendo's Gamepads, Know Your Developers, all that good stuff, and that's pretty much my entire life, is just working on videos for NWR TV.
Oh,
and
that's a wonderful thing.
Occasionally reviewing eShop games of various qualities over at 8worldsnews.com.
And then Tyler, how about you?
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of writing for Nintendo World Report in the past, and I write for a variety of sites right now, like Pure Xbox, 8 Worlds, and a few others, but just writing about games and loving life. It doesn't get much better than
another.
that.
I got another. Well, you're in the state next to me, right? You're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
but let's get right to the news here, because there is a good number of it, and more even came in when we had this outline written up. First up, Splatoon might be getting Amiibo support. There was a South African retailer, which is probably one of the oddest, like, I don't know, there was this retailer in Europe. No, we went to South Africa to find this retailer. But an online South African retailer put up pre-order pages for a Splatoon Boy Amiibo, a Splatoon Girl Amiibo, and also a Splatoon bundle that comes with a Squid Amiibo. Also, Greninja and Jigglypuff Amiibo were also listed. So, John and Tyler, what do you think would happen with a Splatoon Amiibo set?
I really have no clue how they're going to interact with the game, but I do know I'm gonna buy the Amiibo, which is sad because I have all the Amiibo right now and I've not used any of them in a meaningful way. I don't like the Smash Brothers interaction. I don't find any joy in training CPU fighters. But I just keep buying these stupid things, and I just hope there's some payoff down the line where some of these have cool features.
I can tell you that full payoff is not in Mario Party 10. well, it's kind of interesting because it does. I mean, that gates an entire third of the game. But it does doofy stuff in that where you have to basically pass the gamepad around when you're playing with Amiibo, because in order to roll the die, you have to put your Amiibo down on the gamepad and then pick it up.
Seriously? That is
it's really janky. But I think that I could see with the Splatoon Amiibo maybe being some kind of save your character or build up a character that maybe there's 2-on-2 battles online or locally, that it could be you and Amiibo fighting together, which I think would be up that Smash Brothers type, but I feel like with Splatoon that might be more interesting because you can more heavily customize your characters.
Yeah, it could be a way to bring your character over to your friend's house to play Splatoon.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they had a cloud or something. If somebody just invented cloud syncing software to where you didn't need something like that. But Nintendo, right?
I mean, this kind of goes back to my default answer for when everyone's oh, what do you want to see in the new Mario game? You know what I want to see with Splatoon and Amiibo? Something that'll blow my mind. And given how they've used Amiibo so far, I don't know if that'll happen, but I'll hold out hope.
I think at this point, the Amiibos for Splatoon almost seem in a way, they would be using the Amiibos to to market Splatoon. Not like the Amiibos are a fun thing that you buy to add on to Splatoon, but at this point, Amiibos are really more popular than Splatoon probably is. And so if they can make Amiibos that will cause people to be like, oh, what's this? I should buy the game that goes with this. Then that's probably what they're going to do. Because the only time I work at a game store, and the only time I've ever sold a Kirby Amiibo was to someone who was buying Canvas Curse. Like,
Yeah.
essentially, you're using the Amiibo to sell the game.
I like them buying a used copy of a DS game and buying an Amiibo with it. Like that'd be awesome.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Feel the Magic, also Splatoon Amiibo.
Right. Like you do.
So we also have some new releases this week. The big one actually uses Amiibo in an interesting way. Codename S.T.E.A.M. It'll unlock in about 45 minutes. Are you guys excited for Codename S.T.E.A.M?
Yes, because I can finally use my Marth Amiibo for like something useful. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for the game. I know it got kind of mixed reviews so far. A lot mostly positive, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of Intelligent Systems, in particular their strategy games. And while I probably wish we had another Advance Wars, I'm glad they're doing something different, and I want to see what they dreamed up.
Which is kind of funny because when I see Codename S.T.E.A.M. and the more I think about it, it's almost like a Battalion Wars style of game. Like Battalion Wars and Advance Wars made a baby. Like that's kind of what it feels like as far as how the gameplay is, because it is turn-based, but it also has that third-person perspective that was used in Battalion Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I might wind up picking it up just as something to play on my new 3DS that makes that thing worth having at this point.
So you're not playing Monster Hunter? Come on, man.
Not yet. I've actually gone back to the Monster Hunter 3.
Oh, okay.
Like I hated playing that with the eagle claw. Sorry, I just hit my mic. I hate playing that with that eagle claw grip that you had to use to do like the D-pad or use the touchscreen, and it felt terrible. So I've actually gone back to that, and I'm playing that with the new 3DS.
Oh, that's cool. I'm very excited for Codename S.T.E.A.M. And a lot of the negative stuff that I was reading kind of made me think of how I actually enjoyed the demo, and that kind of seemed like that divided some people. And it seems like if you enjoyed the demo, you're probably gonna like the full game. That's just my guess. We also have a big bag of crap in F-Zero GP Legend came out on the Wii U eShop in North America. Let's not mention how Zero Mission came out in Europe, because that's really depressing. F-Zero GP Legend, do not advise anyone to buy that game. Don't get it. It'll just make you sad because it was the last F-Zero game released in North America.
Was GP?
Is this the one that was based off the TV show?
Yes, based off the anime of the same name.
Now, is GP Legend of the Game Boy Advance F-Zero games, is that the one that's supposed to be good, or was that the other game?
One of them is supposed to be good.
Well, good for a Game Boy Advance F-Zero game.
I know
I've heard
that
one of them is better than the other one.
I am honestly not entirely sure. I know that Maximum Velocity was kind of playable. That was the one that was a launch title. And I actually got a brand new copy of F-Zero GP Legend at a flea market, brand new sealed in box, about 2 or 3 years ago for $5, which probably says a lot about that game. And then I played it and couldn't stand it. But
which one was the Ambassador game?
Maximum Velocity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they all also together in a pile of crap.
We also have 3D Outrun, which is a way more exciting retro release this week. Have you guys played any of the new Sega 3D Classic games?
I've played, what is it? The Galaxy Wars?
Galaxy Force?
No, Galaxy Force, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yes,
yeah, I played that one. That was awesome, and I loved it, and I haven't got around to playing any other ones, but it's a really nice conversion. I think overall they seem nicer than the Nintendo 3D Classics that they did a while ago.
Yeah.
It's
all by those wizards at M2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know 3D Outrun. I don't totally play that arcade game. I know it's a racing game. I do know that the soundtrack is totally badass. So, I mean, maybe listen to the soundtrack and see if it's your thing, and then go race some cars.
Yeah.
We also have.
strangely enough, I haven't, despite having a lot of nostalgia for old Sega titles, I've not tried any of these 3D classic versions of
Dude, you're
them.
missing out. Sincerely, they're really really neat. But but yeah, so Try and Enchanted Edition also came out this week on the Wii U eShop. I realized after playing Trine 2, I'm not really totally into these games. How about you guys?
I actually we got the review copy out over at 8 Worlds News for this game, and so I grabbed that. I loved trying to. I'm also just a sucker for games with pretty art design.
No, I mean, the game is totally beautiful, especially
Beautiful,
the sequel.
yeah. So I mean, the Enchanted Edition is pretty. It's just the first game put into the engine of the second game.
Okay.
And it's more Trine. It's always kind of rough playing these series backwards because you get to play the second one and then you go back and play the first one. It's like this is like that other thing you did, but not quite as good. So it looks pretty. It's more Trine, but obviously it's not doing anything new because it is older.
Yeah, it's weird because I think the original. I either played it on PC or like PS3, and I really liked the original. And then when I played Trine 2, it just like maybe that time passed in my life where those kind of physics-based platformers got old for me or something. It does look pretty though.
I am trying to on I think 3 systems. I bought it for Wii U. I think it was like PS Plus on PS4.
It was a PS Plus game on PS4.
And then I probably own it on Steam because I probably bought it for like $1 or $2 during some Steam stuff. And I've spent about 10 minutes of it. Like I played 10 minutes of it when it came out on the Wii U, and I was like, oh, this is perfectly fine. I'll get back to it some other time. And then several years have passed, and I've not touched it at all.
I feel like you and I have similar problems with games where you're like, oh, that looks really cool. I'll get back to it later, and then that never happens.
I will say that both Trine games on the Wii U are arguably the best system to play that game on, just because of the when you're playing as the wizard and you can draw his magic shape things on the gamepad.
Yeah.
That works way better than it does on any other platform. So
Indeed.
I would say that the Wii U is probably the best version of the game from a gameplay standpoint.
It works on PC pretty well too because you can use the mouse.
Sure. Yeah, but it's better than an analog stick.
So if you want to hear more about eShop games and potentially the bottom of the barrel, John and Tyler are going to be in the future doing some kind of monthly eShop discussion on Nintendo World Report TV. So stay tuned for that, and you can hear about that apparently very dumb game where you can't touch red. But just don't touch red. Man. Don't do it, man. Don't touch red.
Like, it really bums me out that, like, basically Flash games are being released on the eShop and they're charging money for them. Like,
they're not charging a lot of money for it, so it's not that bad, I guess.
I mean, if you look at, like, any 48-hour game jam, you'll find, like, 20 games that are more interesting than, like, these, like, $2 Wii U releases that have been coming out, like, particularly these Nintendo Web Framework ones. And it's just such a bummer to see see it all littered up, because it kind of brings the perception down of the eShop as a whole. There's actually a lot of like really cool games out there, like Black and stuff, that are like really neat games. And then you've got stuff like Meme Run and all this other crap, just all over it, just rampant.
To be fair, Meme Run is off the eShop, and if we could all just take a moment of silence in remembrance of Meme Run, oh man, I'm not sad it's gone.
I don't think anyone is. So moving on to the rest of the news, we're going to go with what probably would have been the top story if we plan this out later. The MPD sales from February. The 3DS did really, really well. It had sold 395,000 units total in North America. It was the hottest selling system of the month, buoyed a lot by the new 3DS XL. In addition, Majora's Mask was the #1 selling game of the entire month, selling more than 500,000 copies, both digitally and physically. And then Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate sold around 290,000 units, reaching #10 on the MPD list. The Wii U apparently sold about 94,000 units, which is up from last year, but still mildly depressing. How do you guys feel about this? I don't know. I'm a big sales nerd at this point, so I could probably ramble on about this, but let's go to you guys first to see if you give a crap.
I think I'm honestly just really surprised by how well the new 3DS XL is actually selling. Um, when they announced that, I think a lot of people felt this way. That thing looked like something that would sell to the three of us, but not a lot of just the average consumer, because it seemed like a very niche product. But it's sold. I mean, it was sold out most places on launch day and for
Yeah.
like a week or two afterwards. So I'm just
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, someone on Twitter, when I commented on this, replied saying that like kind of the more important thing will be how does it do in month 2, because I was thinking about it, and technically I bought 2 copies of Majora's Mask in February because I got that Skull Kid thing that I later I kept the Skull Kid and resold the game, and then I bought it digitally, and I'm sure I wasn't the only person that did stupid things like that. And you also have the limited edition systems probably drove up sales a little bit. So I think that it will be really important to see how the 3DS and the new 3DS does in March and April after February. I mean, obviously it's getting a great start. I mean, 400,000 units isn't anything to sneeze at. That's a really good month for a launch in February or a relaunch in February. I don't have the DSi launch month numbers on hand, but I'm sure the new 3DS XL beat the crap out of it. Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
a very good point about the second month sales, because that first month you're going to get all the hardcore Nintendo fans who are
Yeah.
going to buy it, regardless of quality. And but I don't know. I can't speak for everyone here. I think the new 3DS is pretty impressive in the build quality, and I've been happy with it. But it's going to be telling to see like how the wider marketplace goes into it. Maybe it just replaces the 3DS for like Christmas sales and stuff, but I'm not sure if the market's going to truly be there yet. But this is a promising start, and definitely a better start than I was predicting for it.
Yeah. Same here. So moving on to some new game announcements or localizations that are making the trip over. The first one, which I'm pretty excited for, except for the fact that I'm totally backlogged on Etrian Odyssey games, is Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold: The Fafnir Night. I'm probably saying that wrong. I don't really care. It's a nonsense term. It'll be hitting this summer in North America for $49.99. Once again, the Atlas tax. But the physical edition will come with bonuses, probably some sort of CD, some nice little art book maybe, trying to justify that $50 price tag. It's a sequel to the first Untold game, which makes it a remake of the second Etrian Odyssey game, which came out on the DS a number of years ago. And like the first Etrian Odyssey Untold, which is a remake of the first one, it features a new story mode that's similar to what was in Untold, and there will also be an exclusive character class. That's the Fafnir, which is that nonsense word that I mentioned earlier. Have either of you guys played the Etrian Odyssey games before?
I've played several of the games in the past. 4 was actually my first title, and I got really into that. I probably sunk
Same here.
about 40 or 50 hours into that. Still didn't beat it. Like, that game is just crazy long.
Yeah,
But
I think I put about 30 into it, and it's a very enjoyable grind. At least that's how I find those games. It's like fun to explore, fun to be like, oh, this guy's gonna kill me. I need to get away from it or try to figure out a way to outsmart it. Like a nice challenge is what I found in those games.
same here, yeah, exactly. And I found the map, how you have to grid out the map to be an interesting mechanic.
Yep.
Even if it's kind of like cumbersome at times, I still enjoy doing that. And I bought the first Untold. I think it's like Millennial Girl or something like
Yeah,
that.
Millennium Girl, I
And
think. That was fun. I also put about 20 or 30 hours into that one too.
I didn't get as far into that. I played about 5 hours, and I was like, I still got to finish 4, and then I haven't touched 4. But
The one thing in the first Untold that I remember, and I don't know if you remember this because if you didn't get as into it, they added this thing called like grimoire stones, which were kind of like it was oh we're gonna change up the way you level up and fight, and they just were kind of goofy, and I didn't really enjoy them that much. Where at the end of the day, I kind of prefer 4. But I think I was reading a little bit about because I think this game is already out in Japan, or at least there's far more information about it in Japan. And apparently they made the Grimoire Stones way more interesting in the second Untold game. So even though I still have Persona Q to go back and actually play, and Etrian Mystery Dungeon will be out in less than a month, I'm excited for this game to come out and when I play it in 2017. The next game is a game that I probably won't play, but Zach Miller likely will. That's Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson, which is coming to both Europe and North America this summer. It's a sequel to the 2013 game Senran Kagura, which only came out on the eShop. This one will have a physical release in both regions. It's also adding 2-character combat, local and online multiplayer, and you can do some AR girl posing if you're really into that thing. There's also a limited Double D edition in North America that comes with a double disc soundtrack. Europe also gets 4 limited editions for some reason. That's weird. And just not a lot of. Just 2 of them are going to be.
You guys get the joke
editions.
because it's CD, 2 CDs, DD.
Yeah. We all get the joke. We all get the joke, Tyler. You know what's the kind of the tragedy about this is that from what I heard about the first one, it's actually a really good game. Like, it's a really fun brawler, but like I don't think I can ever get over the major boobage that is on display in these games.
I agree. It totally belittles these games because like there's a bunch of interesting like games from Japan that just are like hypersexualized for no good reason. Like you get interesting stuff like criminal girls and stuff like that, where like there's some interesting layers there, but it's like you feel like a total creep while playing it, and I mean, I usually feel like a creep at all times, so I'm okay with that. But most people are, and they're more of just limiting their market. But I mean, there is that like niche that is like really into it. That small group that will buy the collector's edition, the Double D edition, and good for them, I guess. But I feel creepy like supporting stuff like that. It's not for me.
I feel like there's a few levels of like that creepiness. Like there's like the Dangang Rappas and like your like Muramasas, and then there's the criminal girls and the Senran Kagura that's just a notch above all of that. Whereas I can go with the lower level, but once you cross into that higher level, no, I'm out. So our last news story of the day is about Tembo the Badass Elephant and the Infinite Sorrow, because this new Game Freak platformer, like Game Freak, the guys who make Pokemon, and they also did Solotiba, which no one knows, but it's this really awesome solitaire horse racing game, as in the card game Solitaire and horse racing. That's only out in the eShop in Japan on 3DS, but they also did Harmonite. And it seems like it's the same team who worked on Harmonite is working on Tembo the Badass Elephant, which is being published by Sega and coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Steam this summer.
I think you left out the Wii U.
Yeah, there's no Wii U or 3DS, and here's the quote from James Turner, who's the dude who made Harmonite. Here's the direct quote. "When I was writing the presentation documents for this game, I drew a mock-up poster, and I put the Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox logos at the bottom. It seemed to fit, and it happened to stick that way, and we thought about the other hardware platforms during development, but our hands were pretty full with those 3 platforms, and we said, fuck you." Oh, wait, no, it ended up with those 3 platforms. There was no last part. This sucks.
I think all platform decisions should be based on what fits on the poster. Like, just screw sales. Like, it fits on the poster, so that's what we're going with.
To be fair, if they're saying if the idea is screw sales, then probably putting it on the Wii U would be the first decision.
Sure.
I mean,
at least it's from a very recognizable developer, though. I mean, if you were going to put it on the Wii U, like, people know who Game Freak is. I kind of assumed they were a second-party developer until now. Like, it just are synonymous.
Like Intelligent Systems and that like because I don't know. Well, I think Intelligent Systems actually does have funding from Nintendo. I don't know that 100% offhand, because Intelligent Systems has worked with other publishers, but I don't think they've published anything on other platforms. Whereas Game Freak, Yeah, because they also did Drill Dozer, and they did oh god, it was the Sega Genesis game. You're like an electro guy. I can't think of the name of the game, but I mean, so they've done stuff for other platforms, but that was all pre-Pokemon mostly. So this is kind of their first major release on another platform in a post-Pokemon world for them. It's just weird because, and also what this reminds me of, down to having ass in the name of the game, is that really cool, or I don't think they had an obscenity in the name. Hell yeah, Wrath of the Dead Rabbit or something along those lines, which was this really awesome like 2D Metroidy, beautiful looking game published by Sega last generation that was made by Arcado Studio, and hell yeah, killed Arcado Studio. Like, it did so bad on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 that the fucking developer had to shut down.
Which is a shame because that was actually like a really cool game.
It was a
And,
really cool game. I believe that it got to a point where there was some BS in the later parts of that game that really annoyed me, but I had a good number of hours before I got to that point. And I mean, that sucks. And yeah, you know what? Tembo the Badass Elephant not selling well on PS4 and Xbox One, that's not going to sink Game Freak. I think Game Freak's pretty safe, but I like I don't know if PS4 and Xbox One would be the best market for this game. I feel like Tembo the Badass Elephant would probably be something that would do better on a Wii U, but who knows? I mean, it'll probably do fine on Steam because everybody can play Steam pretty much. Um, yeah.
yeah,
That's
it will be interesting to see how it does. And while it is like super disappointing that it's not coming to the Wii U, that game does look awesome. Like
yeah.
the
I mean, I
clarity
own
they
a
put out
PlayStation
looks so
4,
good.
so when Tembo the Badass Elephant comes out, I will be lining up and throwing my money at them because that game looks great. Yeah. So I think that just about does us for this episode of Nintendo News Report. But first, we have some visitors. There's Toad. There he is. He's a little guy.
Oh,
There's Bowser, who's like twice the size of him. These are the Mario Party amiibos. I mean, I think the design of them, as you've probably seen from images and stuff, they look way better. I know, Tyler, you mentioned that you have all the amiibos. Do you have these dudes pre-ordered?
yes, I have them pre-ordered, except for the Gold Mario, which I don't know.
Just give up. It's not worth it. But I do like the Yoshi because like he's got his hands up like that. Like he's like, eh. It's like he's scared or something. I don't know. And then Luigi and Mario, they point.
That's
Yeah.
much better pose for Luigi than the one he's in now.
Oh, I like the planking one. The planking
I
one
yes,
is
I
You
style.
probably
can
just.
you can position him
I think
behind
that's
any
my
other
favorite
amiibo.
figure.
You
Yeah.
position him behind any other amiibo, it looks like he's doing terrible, terrible things to him.
Which is I'm all about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have my amiibo on a shelf right off camera, and I have definitely put them in precarious positions because it makes me laugh. So that does us finally for this episode of Nintendo News Report. Next week, I don't think any of us will be here. That doesn't mean I hope we didn't do a terrible job, but I think Alex and Scott will be back, and the show will be back to its regular crew, normal time, all that jazz. For me, Tyler, and John. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave comments below and let us know how we did. Let us know if we could improve the show. Let me know if you want to hear more about Tembo the Badass Elephant, and we could just have Tembo the Badass Elephant World Report TV, or just talk about Game Freak every week. We could do a game club on that game that I can't remember for Sega Genesis, something like that. I don't know. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV. Should be somewhere on the page that you're watching this. And see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.